I think I can just about speak for everybody, but we all love a great Aussie story, and especially a great Aussie engineering story. And in the topic of talking about great accessories and all the rest of it, no one comes more knowledgeable than Mike. Now, he's got decades of experience touring this great country of ours, and you've started from very humble beginnings, mate, with Clearview.
We're in our 18th year now, and when we first started, I had an 80 series, and,
Yeah, that's why you're a good bloke. That's why you're a good bloke, Mike. I've always said it.
I was waiting for a reaction here, but
I haven't said anything.
He's no longer a Nissan man. He's 12
No longer a
now.
Nissan man.
That's
All right.
true,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, I had the 80 and I hooked up my caravan and drove out the gate and looked in my mirror and all I could see is caravan.
Right.
I just felt, this is not good enough. So I started looking around and there was nothing on the market. In the end, I just got frustrated and I kept saying to my wife, somebody's got to do something about making some decent tow mirrors because it is dangerous if you can't see. I ended up getting a set of Chev Silverado mirrors out of the States. I spent about a week messing around with them, going out and getting, adapter plates made and drilling and tapping and all the rest of it. I got them on the car and wired them all up and everything worked.
And then to the 80 series?
On the 80, yeah. And then we set off.
Yeah, right.
We went down Lake's entrance. We pulled up and it was like Elvis rocked into the building. Now, when I had a look at me and I looked...
driving an 80, Mike, let's be honest.
And I looked at Elvis, I thought, no, we're nothing alike. It can't be me.
Oh, come on.
Anyway, everybody was all over the mirrors.
Right.
Where'd you get them, I had a guy that came up to me and he said, I've got a 100 series Land Cruiser, can you make a set for my car for me? And this guy had a beautiful car and a beautiful caravan, and he said, I can't see what's around me.
Yeah.
He said, it scares me every time I want to change lanes.
Yeah.
He said, I can't see anything. He said, I'm not interested in the cost. He said, I just want the product.
Yeah.
So I realised there and then that people were happy to pay the price for something that worked.
If it's okay with you, Mike, I wouldn't mind asking a couple of quick fire questions. I'm sure everyone's going to be very interested to hear from you, mate. The first question I've got in mind is, what's the biggest lesson you've learned when you first started Clearview?
Details. It's the small details that add up that give you a good product. If you miss all the little bits and pieces along the way, it just doesn't work. And you've got to be consistent with your product all the time.
My Clearview accessories, they are built for adventure. And you are still out there doing it.
Yeah.
Favourite place you've been to recently?
Recently, Honeymoon Bay, Columbaroo, Western Australia.
Western
Sorry,
Australia, that's
Shauno.
the part.
wow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
What is he paying you for this?
on another note, I love it up the Cape as well.
Yep.
And,
Who doesn't?
And I haven't been up there for a few years, but I want to get back up there. I love Fraser.
Yes.
There's just something about it. I relax when I go to Fraser. Really, really enjoy it.
Yep.
There's so many nice places around the country, and some people live in a little apartment and they've got a little electric car that they've got, and they've got no idea
That this exists?
what's out there, and you can't do it in one of those.
No, exactly right, mate.
We can sum that question up by saying Western Australia is Mike's favourite location.
Oh, then you remembered Fraser Island, obviously that just...
Oh, yeah, you had to add something in there to keep the West Coast.
Edges in
Had to
front.
throw
So.
that in, mate.
You had to throw it in to keep the East Coast happy, yeah. Anyway.
Here's one for you, mate. What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given? That's a tough one to answer.
Be nice to my mother.
There you go.
There you go.
Well said. Well said.
That's beautiful.
You make a lot of really clever products, right? What is one product that you make that you reckon you couldn't live without?
You realise I am extremely biased, don't you?
Well,
that's
I
why I
hope so.
asked.
Well,
But you've got to narrow it to one. This is going to be the tricky bit.
our mirrors, without a question. The mirrors, number one, keep you safe.
Yep.
They allow you to see what's around you when you're travelling through the bush. I feel very blessed that I've been able to do this because my father, God bless his soul, I love him to bits. He had an old Nissan Patrol.
Good man.
He would travel up the road and he didn't care who was behind him.
Right.
And he couldn't see, so it really didn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah, and it used to worry me that when you got a van on, you can feel the wind off the trucks, pulling the van around, right? You don't want to end up in the triaxle of the trailer.
No.
It's not on.
Mike, one last thing I want to know. Clearview is always innovating. There's always something new. I think that's primarily because you can't turn off up here. What have you got coming out, mate? Is there anything secret you can share with us?
Not secret stuff, like sort of super secret. You know, if I tell you, I have to shoot you. But we're working on some other stuff in the background, and, and it's been on the whiteboard for a while now, and there's some good stuff coming.
I know, and he's got that smile on his face too. You know there's some good quality stuff coming out, so I can't wait to hear all about it, mate. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come and chat to us.
You're
It's
welcome.
always great to hear
Absolute
from you,
honour.
mate.
Absolute honour.